designed our app to integrate social online media with real-life interactions. So social networking for many people today is effectively divided into their online networks, like Facebook or LinkedIn, and their real-life interactions. And while the two may overlap, they're intrinsically different. So our app bridges that gap by leveraging the social web to connect people who are close together and with similar interests. Users of our app provide us with a name, a photo, and a list of interests, and we provide them with a list of people around them who want to talk about the same kinds of things. Our potential user base is extremely broad, as our app is useful to really anyone who is around people they don't know on a regular basis. So our typical user could be anyone from a young city goer in a dynamic social scene or a business person attending a conference. In our demo, we will show how a new user, Pogo Fox, might improve his experience at a web development conference using Enchantee.
Hi everyone, my name is Kenzen. I'll be showing you and demoing you the application. So here I'm going to be Pogo Fox. I'm going to sign up as him. So username is Pogo. And sign up. So this is one critical thing here is that we're requesting your location here. So if this was on a smartphone, your location would be immediately pulled instantly from your GPS. And if we had enough Wi-Fi around us, we would also be able to pull our location to a pretty precise area. But here I'm going to show you one of the scenarios where if you don't have location, this is what you would do. So I'm going to hit don't allow here. So you can see your location is not available. We can actually manually type that in. So we can manually type in Soda Hall, and the app will figure out that we're at Soda Hall here in Berkeley. So that's our first and most important feature, and that's location. So Ron's going to take over and show you the other features.
Great. Hi, I'm Sherban. So, as Kenzen mentioned, location is the most important part of our app. So now that we've established that we have that, I can talk about the second most important part of our app, which is finding and displaying people who are near you. So let's have a look at how that might happen. In order to make, as you can see on the home page here, we have a list of people that are around us right now in Soda Hall. So let's see how this list can become more useful when the user Pogo adds his interests to the list. So we're going to add an interest here, and let's say Pogo likes The Office. It's a TV show. Okay, and you can see that it pops up his profile page with the relevant information. But now if we go back to the front page, you'll notice that the results have changed based on that interest. So Ryan happens to like The Office as well. And so he pops up first in the list because he's more relevant, even though he's slightly farther away than Sherban was in that list. This demonstrates the third most important feature of the app, which is actually matching people with the relevant interests. It's not just finding them and plotting them, but making them show up in a useful way. So we have another view for this, which is the map view. So it's nice to see who's around you that's relevant, but you might actually be standing somewhere and go, oh, there's a guy at a booth over there, and I wonder what he's all about. So you might look at the map and say, click on somebody, and then go, oh, well, let's find out what Kenzen likes. So this would take me to his profile page, where I can examine what he's interested in, and maybe put him on a list of preferred users to get back to him later. And then we have a page for that. So those are sort of the big features of the app. Let's now look at what are the things we learned in doing all this.
Hey, I'm Max, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that we've learned along the way. So if you saw, we have a continuous location update that happens in the background, and we rely on this for most of our pages. We ran into a couple challenges with that. So first of all, the site would be normally unusable for people that do not have location-enabled browsers. And second of all, even if they do have location capabilities, they could conceivably get to a page that requires their location before it has a chance to post that to the server. So to solve this, we've built a requires location filter that redirects users to a specifically designed page that either updates their location from the browser or provides the address form that then gets geolocated into a set of coordinates that we can work with.
So one thing we learned very clearly towards the latter stages of the project was that the design choices we made early on and the assumptions that they were based on really affect you later when you're working on a web app like this. So we're using AuthLogic to provide our authentication system, and the assumption was that we wanted an entire self-contained app, and then later on append that system with something like Facebook or LinkedIn, which would be highly useful in this case. It turns out that because these services are so dynamic and their interfaces change often, all of the existing plugins and gems that would have helped us achieve this easy integration with AuthLogic turned out to be not very useful because a lot of them that we found were outdated and aren't entirely intact for our purposes. So the lesson here is we should have done two things, and that was architect the app to be much more flexible in terms of accepting different plugins in the beginning, as well as maybe just scrapping AuthLogic and going with Facebook to begin with.
Finally, our app also revolves around the map interface, obviously, but the Rails plugins we found were all outdated and were not appropriate. So we ended up creating our own Rails plugin. That way we can describe our maps declaratively in our controller while the plugin handles all the messy code generation. And from this, I gained valuable insight into the Rails framework and the Google Maps API.
Okay, so going forward, we have a few goals for our app. Because our app is so critically integrated with location, we want to be able to pull your location instantly and accurately. So the best way to do that is with a mobile-enabled, GPS-enabled mobile phone. So in the future, we want to develop this into a mobile application specifically for your iPhone or Android phones. The next big feature is having the app understand where you are beyond just latitude and longitude. That means having it understand that we're here at Soda Hall and that we're here at a web developer conference, and having it know why I'm here. So that means it would show my business interests instead of, say, if I was at a bar, it would show my beer interests. So this app is available now. You guys can try it on your phone and your laptops, and we'll be taking questions now. Thank you.
Cool. Let me point out real quick. So when we actually let the browser do its thing and send the location in the app, you'll see the little icon in the corner updated. And that's what happens on the phone. It happens instantly because the phone always has the location.
Cool. Questions?
So you basically, how do you implement the location? It's done.
HTML5. So we just did a navigator.geolocation.
So you use JavaScript.
Yeah.
too.
And then it goes into the database as latitude and longitude, and then for the address, there's a Google API to get the actual location coordinates from the address. And it'll actually do things like Soda Hall.
Did you do anything to try to save the load on your data? Because right now it looks like on every page load you're updating your, is that controlled through JavaScript? Like do you cache and put it in a session or something?
So we didn't do that at the moment. I think the idea was that we actually wanted something in the background that would probably, like in the future, be more sort of periodic, like it would pull, say, like once every 60 seconds. Basically, we didn't think it was super relevant to try to implement that at the moment, and so we just had it on every page where it does that.
If I meet someone via this, will it remember that fact so it doesn't try to reintroduce me to that person in the future? Or is the goal to also let me, even if I know them, to let me know that they're there?
Currently, we haven't implemented that. But
everyone shows up on your nearby users list. It's more important to show that they're nearby than that you don't. Because like if you save them and they're nearby and you took that off the list, you will show they're there.
So I have one other, other than AuthLogic not quite working out the way you hoped, was there any other stuff that we told you guys we thought would be useful and then you tried it and it turned out it just was not useful at all? Because we've heard people say, oh, it turned out our spec was hard to learn, but it was really useful. That's great. What did we tell you that would be useful, but then you tried it and you didn't think it was useful? Because that helps us figure out.
I mean, on the subject of RSpec, I actually sort of started to embrace test-driven development in this, and I really like it.
Absolutely.
My comment on that was that I think you guys made it sound like a lot of things would be trivial to implement by just adding in a gem. And the two roadblocks we had were that A, the gems were either broken or outdated, and B, there is no really good documentation to speak of for any of these things.
Except for the RDoc that comes with them sometimes.
Not even that, but like really reading the source code is the only way to get it going. And I just found that there were too many, even like sometimes you would hit a gold mine on Stack Overflow, but a lot of times you're just like, why isn't this working? Some random guy wrote it, I don't even know, like, so those are the kinds of issues we have.
Right.
Did anybody besides me notice that they're all dressed in the same color scheme and it matches the color scheme of the app? Okay, thank you guys.